So let me say again, welcome to everyone. My name is Lynn Magid Lazar. For those who don't know me, welcome to all of my friends on both sides of the ocean to our really exciting program today. And although the program is called Italian Cooking Class, it's really so much more than a cooking class. Yes, we are going to learn from a wonderful chef. We're going to hear about the high holiday traditions in Milan. But this afternoon is really just another step in building the incredibly fabulous relationship with our brothers and sisters in Congregation Lev Hadash in Milan. It's another step towards strengthening Klal Yisrael, the worldwide Jewish community. Hopefully everyone on this call is aware of our very special Torah project that Temple Sinai began nearly a year ago, if we can believe that. We're creating a new Torah scroll, and each and every one of our family of families and here in Pittsburgh has the unique ability to be able to participate in this gift of Torah by writing a letter in our new scroll. The new scroll is going to be a legacy of Rabbi Jamie's gifts to all of us for his 32 years at Temple Sinai. And then to continue—
Mike, I'm going to ask you to watch the video.
then to continue that gift of Torah in all kinds of ways, gifting Torah, Temple Sinai is going to be donating one of our other Sefer Torah scrolls to Congregation Lev Hadash in Milan, Italy. We began this project by connecting with Congregation Lev Hadash through the World Union for Progressive Judaism. And from the very first communication, we all recognized that this was a perfect match. We've had emails and Zoom calls, and now this wonderful opportunity to learn and cook and share together. I know that we all look forward to healthier and calmer days in our respective communities and really across the entire globe, and to more shared experiences. And I know we all definitely look forward to the day that when a group of Pittsburghers will board an airplane with our Torah scroll and celebrate together as we in person give this Torah scroll to our dear friends in Milan. So welcome again. Sorry I had my camera turned off. I didn't realize that. Welcome again to everyone. And I'm going to just, again, make sure if you are not speaking, please mute. And actually, if you want to turn off your own camera, it will improve our connection once the Italian group starts sharing their screens. And if you have any questions, please type them into the chat box, and we will try to get to everyone's questions as we go along, and when there's a moment we can address all of that. So at this point I would like to turn this over to Rabbi Sylvia Rothschild, who is the rabbi of Lev Hadash, and we'll go from there. Rabbi Sylvia.
Right, thank you very much. It's lovely to be here. I have to tell you, I'm not sitting in Milan, I'm sitting in London, and the Rosh HaShanah Seder, which we're going to talk about a little bit today, as well as the lovely food that's going to be cooked. Rosh HaShanah Seder was news to me when I first came to Milan, and I said, let's plan the services, right? Rosh HaShanah Erev service, what we're going to do, and everyone looked at me and said, Rosh HaShanah Erev? We have a Seder. We're not, you know, you put your machzor away. We're not interested. And that was my first introduction to the Rosh HaShanah Seder. It is a Mizrahi Sephardi tradition. It's actually a beautiful thing, and it's open to a huge amount of contemporary additions as well. So Rosh HaShanah Seder appears first of all in the Talmud, at least the first reference to eating special foods on Rosh Hashanah appears in the Talmud in Horayot, Tractate Horayot, and it's Abaye, the famous rabbi Abaye, who says It's important to have omens and significant things, so you should always be accustomed to seeing these things on Rosh Hashanah. You should be able to see squash and fenugreek and leeks and chard and dates and so on. He gives a long list. And then what comes is a very beautiful thing, which is a lot of Hebrew punning, Hebrew and Aramaic punning. So all of the foods that are used not because of their shape or particularly or anything else. They're used because of their name. And the name is a pun for a significant thing that you would like to happen. It's not like a Pesach Seder. There's no story behind it. But instead, for example, date, tamarim, tam meaning to end or to be perfect, then the blessing is that may all our bad luck end and may our life be perfect. So it's a kind of game that's played, a kara to gezer, which ligzor is to make a decree. May God decree for us a wonderful new year and so on. So it's a kind of funny mix of expecting and hoping for good luck and using the foods as those, and also for the negative of ending our enemies, ending the negativity in our lives. So it's a beautiful punning liturgy. The mixture of foods is deeply odd, to be honest. The first Seder that I had, I think we actually had raw leek and raw beans, and it was quite unusual for me. But you can also do the puns in English if you're really interested. So I know some colleagues in the States were looking at this, and they came up with things like you could have chips because of friendship. You could have cheese because we want everybody to smile like they're saying cheese and so on. There's a whole kind of list of puns that maybe in Pittsburgh you can add to the glory that is the Rosh HaShanah Seder, as well as the fenugreek and the leek and the beans, and famously the head of either a fish or a ram, or in my vegetarian household, a lettuce, to sort of say this is the head of the year, the beginning of something lovely. So we are, I think, at the beginning of something lovely in our relationship. I would just like to start with a blessing. And I remember here my teacher, Rabbi Lionel Blue, who wrote many a Jewish cookbook, as well as many a Jewish book on theology. And he would often talk about the great power that is the kitchen in Jewish life. He talked about kitchen Jews and how this is the one thing, the food of your grandparents or the food you remember as a child is the thing that stays with you forever. So it seems to me that's as good a Torah as anything. So, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed is God who commands us to be busy, to be engaged in Torah, because the Rosh HaShanah Seder, I have to tell you, and all the foods that are kind of a Torah. They're a learning, and they're a beautiful Jewish learning to be doing. So I'm going to pass on now to Aldo. I hope Aldo is there. Aldo, Rosanna?
Yes, I'm here. Hi. Shalom to everybody. Shalom, Temple Sinai. Shalom, Pittsburgh. She's Rosanna, she's my wife, and she's my boss. She does everything. So before we start, I have to go in the kitchen, which is 1 meter from here. I ask really everybody to mute the video, because switch off the video, because Anita, you as well. Thank you, Kostovsky. Thank you. Because here the connection is weak, and I'm not sure that you will see all the movie we had prepared. If you will not see the movie, don't worry, you will receive by the synagogue, by Temple Sinai. We have all the movie on drive, and you will see it. So I switch off here, and you will see me on the other side. Ci siamo?
Let us know in the chat if you can hear properly.
Okay. I try to talk high volume. This is
Perfect. Yes, they can hear us.
okay. And you show it here. This is a
Amore, vai, vai.
typical Rosh HaShanah plate for the Seder. Now we'll put the omelette inside here, and that's it. You'll have everything.
Perfect. So, Aldo, do you want to tell me what we're looking at the moment?
Yes.
You want me to
Okay.
hold it?
Okay, thank you. So we are not saying Berachot, but we say Yehi Rasom Lefanecha. Maybe because we have the ending of our enemies and something like this. So it's not a real Berachah that we are proposing to God, but we just ask God to let us have this possibility. So Tamar, which is
Dates.
dates.
Ragazzi, non si vede.
Okay,
Mettete giù.
dates.
Oh.
Aldo, do you want me to say what the traditional blessings are? Aldo, oh, you've got them.
Okay, okay, this is dates,
So these are typical dates. I don't know if you can see them.
and maybe Rav Sylvia will say you what we say on dates.
Okay, so we say, Yehi Ratzon Milvanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu, Sheyit Amu Oivenu v'Sonenu v'Kol v'Baskei Ratenu. May it be your will, eternal, our God and God of our ancestors, that there come to an end, this is the tam, of our enemies, to those who hate us, to those who wish evil upon us.
Okay, I know you are Ashkenazi and you eat honey. We do have figs, which are very sweet. So the same thing you do with apple and honey, we do it with figs. These figs were picked up 20 meters from here in their garden. So we're waiting all of you coming here in Italy. So figs, so pumpkin. Rav Sylvia, would you say something, please?
So the pumpkin is related to the word kara, with an ayin actually. The pumpkin is with an aleph, but with a kara with an ayin means to rip apart. And so what we do is we say, may it be your will, our God and God of our ancestors, that the evil that is our verdict be ripped apart, and instead our merits be announced to you.
Okay, that's it. So now we have fennel. Rav Sylvia, would you say something?
Okay, so you can have fennel or you can have green beans, because there are two different pans going on for the same thing. Fennel is rufia and green beans are luvia, so it's either the lev, the heart, or it's rav, the great one. And we take them and we say, everything begins with, I should say, with Yehi Ratzon Milefanecha, may it be your will, our eternal God, that our merits will increase, that's a rubia, and that you will hearten us, that's a lubia. So you should actually be having green beans as well as your fennel, Aldo. I like to lecture Italians on their own culture.
Okay, and now we do have chard. Okay, chard it's the only preparation. So it's an omelette. It's an omelette, very easy. The only difference between this and the normal omelette is that we put as well sugar in it, because everything we eat in this part of the Seder should remember us that we are asking for a sweet ear. And an ear without enemy is a sweet ear. Okay? Rav Sylvia, very shortly,
That's what do you have there? The chard. The chard or the leek, you can have leek. And again, that's again about karet, to cut down, may our enemies be cut down from in front of us. So again, it's the same idea.
Now is the rimon. This small rimon It was on a tree out of here. So look how beautiful it is. The other one we bought. And we are asking almost the same thing we asked for Fenan on Rimon. The difference in our tradition is that Rimon is as well a crown, a coat of crown. So the kind of abundance we are asking is very immediate. We ask for, let's see, we don't say it, but it is. We ask for money and we ask for children. So, Sylvia, would you say something religion?
Well, I'm sure, although that we ask for money and for religion, because the pomegranate is always a symbol of fertility and of many, many things. There's a tradition that there are 613 seeds in a pomegranate to correspond to the 613 mitzvot. So the blessing that I have is Yehi Ratzon Milefanecha Adonai Eloheinu Velohei Avotenu. May it be your will, eternal God and God of our ancestors. May we be filled with as many mitzvot as a pomegranate. Yeah, I don't think we want 613 children. That's pretty sure. And I'm not entirely sure we want to be filled with these mitzvot. But the idea is that there's a plenitude of good things in our lives.
Now it's I don't know if you know the word Ain Hara. It's evil eye, I guess, in English. Is it?
In Yiddish, it's Kana Hora. I think for the Ashkenazim here, Kana Hora is the phrase. So the Ayin Hara, the evil eye.
The evil eyes. Okay. So the prayer, it's a little bit different, but everybody knows in Italy that it's against the evil eye, because the fish never close the eyes. So when we ask God to look us with an open eye, means that he will contrast the evil eye against us. Sylvia, what is saying the prayer on the fish?
Well, the one that I know, but I'm still learning about Milan, as you know, although I've been coming for 3 years. Every time I come and say, I've just learned this about Italian jewelry, somebody looks at me and says, not Milan, that's in Venice or Florence or Rome or Sicily. The tradition that I have is that we say, may it be your will, God and God of our ancestors, that we be the head and not the tail. In other words, that we be somebody with our own agency and not just somebody who has to follow what other people demand of us in the coming year.
Now we start with the first cooking lesson. So the fish, we will not eat in this part of the dinner, but later. We just say the prayer now and we will eat during the dinner with fish. Now I teach you how to prepare a fish in a very, very easy way without make an error. It doesn't matter if the fish is 20 grams or 2 kilograms. It's, the timing is very easy. So here we have a court bouillon. You will see the video. But
so basically, it's a fish broth that we already made ahead. You will find the technical instruction in the video later on when we send it to you. We have made it with dehydrated onions, celery, and carrots. We made them dehydrated just because we got them from the vegetable garden, and to store them and keep them for the winter, we dehydrate them. But you can obviously use fresh ones. You can use fresh ingredients. After putting the vegetables in the saucepan, we add water and we bring it to boil with a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt, and we let it simmer for how long, Gado? Per quanto lungo?
1 hour, half an hour.
Half an hour. The end result should be something like this. So a very light, nice broth that goes well with
now it's cold.
We let it cool down.
Okay. And now what we do is to put the cold fish inside the cold soup. Okay. Okay, and what will happen is at the moment this soup will boil, we stop it boiling, we turn off the fire, and we will cover it. Now we start covering it a little bit so that the heat will remain inside there, but at the moment it will boil, we'll turn off. Then we will eat. At the end, the fish will be ready to be eaten. So, very easy.
What kind of fish should we use? A fat one, a lean one, un grasso?
This is a lean fish, but in the Atlantic Sea, as it is called, normally the fish is a little bit fat, like a salmon. So if you eat a salmon, a good idea would be to add some white wine or some lemon without, how do you call it, the skin, the taste of the lemon, so the soup will be acid and it's good for a fatty fish. So this is done. Very easy, you can do at home, you will see the fish will be perfect. So now we have nukitas. We start from the end of the preparation, because we already did it, and then we will explain you how to prepare. This is the end.
We've already made ahead the dough of the nukitas, so we're going to send you the video where all the process of making the dough is thoroughly explained. The dough is made with semolina, can be made with wheat, whole wheat, any flour of your preference, but traditionally semolina, but you can substitute in case you don't have it. And the end result should be something like this.
There is semolina, eggs, and oil. For 250 grams semolina, I hope somebody of you may translate in the American measurement what is 250 grams. It's a quarter of kilogram. You put around 2 eggs, maybe half egg of oil and half egg of water.
We use the egg shell to measure water and oil to pour into the dough. So in the video you will see what we mean by half egg.
Just to give you an idea of how big is one of the nukitas, is like this, okay?
Wait.
Okay, and this is how it resolves the dough.
Before doing the little bits of pasta, you should make the dough rest for some time in the fridge and let the little gnocchi dry for a little bit.
Okay, now Grazia will show us how to prepare, and I'll do as well. It's very easy. How to prepare some nokita. You take the dough.
So you use the warmth of your hands basically to soften the dough.
So now you're doing quickly, but my suggestion is to put a little bit of oil, olive oil on your hands before doing this.
And we always use extra virgin olive oil, which is from the area, and it's very typical and very traditional in Italian kind of cuisine.
Take a small pot like this. You do it, and you put here, that's it, it's done. You do it 200 or 300 times, and that's done. The idea is that the family convey around the table in the evening, 2 or 3 days or 4 days before Rosh HaShanah, and everybody prepare the nukitas, arguing that the right size is mine and not her size or something like this. And in less than 10 minutes, it will be everything ready, because if 3, 4, 5 people prepare it, it's very, very easy to do it. So now,
in the video, we also give a brief explanation of the word nukitas, where it comes from, and the tradition.
This is a Spanish tradition. It comes from Spain. Almost all the Jews on the Mediterranean basin come from Spain, mainly the Italian Jews. Nuquitas is clearly a Spanish word. In Italy, we call it gnocchi, but are done with potatoes. So this is a Spanish dish, but if you go in Spain, you will not find nuquitas in Spain, because this is a typical Spain preparation, but it's a typical Spanish preparation from the 15th century, not from now. But, you know, we are Jewish, and we have strong memory, and so we have nuquitas. To prepare nuquitas, so you prepare some day before, you make it drying for 2 or 3 days outside, then you put inside a can, and you put in the frigo, and it may stay there for 1 month or 2 months. But please keep it out for Rosh HaShanah or for Kippur or for both festivals. So now we have here
that's meat broth that we prepared to boil actually the nuquitas. So the nuquitas have to be boiled in the broth. The broth was made with the flank of the beef, with chicken drums and chicken wings, because we need quite a fat meat to let it simmer properly with the fat of the meat. We've added fresh carrots, fresh celery, and fresh onion, just sliced in two, and let it boil and simmer for hours. Actually, as long as you may let it simmer, it's honestly the best, because being a beef broth, it will just get thicker and thicker.
So one suggestion: if you prepare the broth before Kippur, do not add too much salt, because otherwise you will be thirsty during Kippur. So during the other period of the year or Rosh Hashanah, you may add
spices.
No, this one not, but the other spicy, yes.
We add juniper, black pepper, and cloves.
Okay, so cloves,
black peppers in grains, and grains of juniper.
Okay, but not before Kippur, because spicy are not good if you're going to make the fasting. Okay, so now we are finishing the preparation.
So after the broth has been simmering for a few hours, we finish the preparation adding a bit of tomato paste and some tomato sauce. In this case, we're going to use normal tomato paste and handmade tomato sauce with the tomatoes from our vegetable garden. So obviously, store-bought tomato sauce and store-bought tomato paste are perfectly fine.
Grazie, sposta più in basso, o sulla destra o sulla sinistra.
Ok. Perfetto. Bad lesson, we say.
This is how the broth should look like.
Okay. So tonight we will eat nuquitas, so you may see how to do it.
Grazie. Okay.
We just add them to the broth.
Okay. As we did nuquitas today and we eat today, the nuquitas will cook less time than normally. Normally, for Kippur, you leave it for 2 hours or so. We have some, you make it cooking for 2 hours or so that all the water or the soup will be absorbed inside and you'll get no thirsty during Kippur. But now the nuquitas were fresh and probably in half an hour will be ready. before Kippur, you make it boiling maybe for 2 hours. Very, very low flame, low fire.
So the harder the pasta is, the more it needs to boil, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so these are fresh, so obviously it takes much less time.
Okay. And that's Nukitas. So we did almost everything. Are we going to close? No. We do have time.
On to the last preparation.
Okay, the last preparation is very interesting. Okay. The last preparation is very interesting. Come si dice pane brostoito?
Toasted bread. So we toast some bread. It needs to be quite hard because we're going to dip it. We're going to dip it in liquid in a minute.
Okay. So you know that when Shabbat ends, there is the Havdalah, and during Havdalah you smell some perfume, some aromas like this one, or
Nutmeg, cloves
all together, so that you will remember the perfume of Shabbat for a week. But what should you do to remember the perfume of Kippur for 1 year? So here in this small town in Italy, this is a tradition you will find only around here. Few Jewish family lives here nowadays. This tradition is from here. This is a wine production area. So in Havdalah you have wine and you have
So we have
spicy.
the different spices we're going to have to add to the wine are cinnamon in sticks, hopefully better than the ground one. Ground cinnamon is sticks. Juniper, black pepper, nutmeg grated, and cloves. And finally, cardamom. This is in seed. In order to use it, you should break the seed and get the inner part out and add it to your preparation.
So it's mandatory to have at least cinnamon and cloves, okay? If you don't have the rest, it's not so important, but these two are important. And then you need to have some sugar. You put 1 bottle of wine in a pot. Okay.
So this should be your end result. It looks like something of a mulled wine. You basically let the wine get to the boiling point and simmer for 5 to 10 minutes with all the aromas, just to get really, really strong with flavor and perfume. And then let it cool down after it has boiled and simmered for 10 minutes.
1 second. It's boiling. We turn off the fire and we cover it.
Turn off or turn on?
Turn off.
Turn off.
That's it.
Okay, now it's turned it off and we cover it. So later we will eat the quitas and everything, and we will take the fish out, and it will be absolutely perfect, believe me. So let's go back to bruscadera.
So to finish our bruscadera, we have to pour the wine onto the roasted bread. Is there any kind of specific bread we should use? Any special bread? What should it be?
Kind of bread like this. I don't know how you call it in America.
With a thick crust, not store-bought bread in boxes, just normal bread with a thick crust. That's the kind of bread we usually use. And it.
Okay, so we did put 3 spoons of sugar inside here, 3 cloves.
3 cloves, 3 grains of pepper, 3 grains of cardamom, 3 grains of juniper, cinnamon, and
One stick.
grated nutmeg. So we got all the spices.
Okay. Which I need
Need a lid.
So we did put before on fire up to the boiling point.
Yeah.
And we lived there for very few minutes, 2 minutes like that, boiling at fuoco molto basso.
With very low flame. Very low.
And then we turn it off. And
There's a question. Is there a substitute? Sorry.
Is there a substitute?
For the Juniper.
Juniper. C'è un sostituto per il ginepro, no?
It's not everybody put it inside. We just give you the full optional. But in my family, we don't use.
So there is no substitute, but you can just avoid it if you don't like it or you don't find
what
it.
is important is this,
Cinnamon
and this.
and cloves.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question.
So we use a colander in order to filter, if you like filter, to filter all the spices out. So in this way, we can only have the wine soaking the bread up. If you like the spices up into your recipe instead, you should keep it without a colander.
Okay. Now, mi dai una forchetta, un coltello? Okay. So now all this preparation is done before Kippur. So once you have the bread inside, you turn it. I'm turning it because we will not wait 24 hours. You should see before how it comes. But if you wait 24 hours, how is the tradition, and it's not necessary to turn it.
So it can rest for 24 hours in the wine.
It should rest.
Okay.
During all Kippur, it should rest inside this wine. You prepare it for all the congregation, and when it will finish Kippur, the very first thing you will eat is this bread and wine. Believe me, you will remember your Kippur for all the year. You will not forget it. I did it once when I was 12, I still remember that. So now we need our boss, Mimo. Mimo, come here.
It's very spongy.
Mimo, please tell us something about this.
The boss.
Gorgeous, sweet, perfetto. Congratulations. È buonissimo. Che buono.
Okay, it seems that it's good. So next, maybe not next Kippur, because now there is the Corona, but Yom Kippur, please prepare a large dish with this bread in your congregation, and think of us when you will eat. It will be an experience. So I'd ask you, maybe you have some question. We have a quarter an hour.
There's another question, guys.
There is another question.
Does on the wine get absorbed in the bread?
Tutto il vino viene assorbito dal pane, credo.
No. Now we put just a few slices of bread, but normally you use a larger dish, and you put all the bread, and yes, there will be some wine down, and the bread will be mostly absorbed by the bread. If so you wish and you're strong enough, after the bread you may drink the wine which lasts on the bottom of the.
If you're brave enough, you can also have the wine.
Okay. So,
Okay, so we have the Nikita simmering still. The fish should be, I would say, reddish. The Nikita boiling.
There is another question over here. Assuming China would work.
Dice funziona anche con la cavalla, sì.
Maybe a thicker bread than challah. Challah is too soft. You need something stiffer. Yes.
Yes, something a bit drier, a bit stiffer.
Facciamo prima il pesce.
Okay.
Okay, now.
Thank you.
Okay, imagine that we already eat our Nikitas. We are not ready at the moment, maybe.
So the order we should eat is first Nikitas and then the fish.
And then the fish. Imagine that we already eat Nikitas.
We're just following the preparation state of the art. Okay. No, you should be able to see the fish. It should look something like this. As you can tell, the skin kind of coming off. It's ready. It's really soft.
The eye is open, so God is looking at it, watching it at us. Now we will. So I'm talking, but you should know that all the preparation were done by Grazia, not by me. So I'm the showman. Grazia is
the silent head chef.
Yes. Okay. Now I'll show you. Now I'll show you that the fish is perfect. Even if you put too much salt or something like this, you can't get wrong. So.
I'm in. Any interest?
So we are de-skinning the fish.
Whenever you like.
Okay.
Oh.
Look at the
okay, well, if you
fish.
come, that'd be great.
There is no blood
Okay,
here.
thank
The meat is very soft. Normally, if you leave the fish cooking too much, the meat becomes hard and thick. If you cook not enough, the meat will remain on the bone. But now you see it moves from the bone. So there is no blood inside here, and the taste is. Let me know how is the taste.
You should be able to take the meat very easily off the bones.
Soft.
So it's soft and it's perfect. Now you can add Italian tradition, oil and salt. French tradition, mayonnaise. Doesn't matter. My advice is to use olive oil, either oil,
extra virgin olive oil,
extra virgin olive oil, and salt, and no more. And you will see, you will enjoy the fish, and all your guests will enjoy the fish prepared in this manner. So now,
so can you use different, like every region, every country can use a different kind of fish to do the...
You may use almost every kind of fish, of course, and the fish will be prepared perfectly. Of course, there are fish which are better. Okay.
And obviously, it's also a very lean way of cooking the fish, a very lean preparation. So.
So my family comes from Livorno. The story of Livorno, which is on the Mediterranean Sea near Florence, which is not on the sea, definitely, is that when there was the Spanish Inquisition, the Jews were obliged to leave Spain, And Ligurn was a very small town and very poor town. But the prince of the town decided to host all the people persecuted in the Mediterranean Sea. In a few years, Ligurn became a very, very rich town because a lot of Jews went living there. And nowadays, Ligurn is one of the towns in Italy with the highest diversity in cooking recipes. And most of them comes from the Jewish tradition, Spanish Jewish tradition. I'm saying that because my father's family is Corcos, and my mother's family is not from Spain, but from Portugal. The Inquisition in Portugal started 100 years later, and it's a funny long name, my mother's family name, which is Borges da Silva de Ferreira de Sá de Mendes de France. So Mendes France comes from my family. It's a legend, but I like legends, you know. So do you have any question on Jewish in Italy, on cooking or whatever? I give in the same, while waiting, I give you some other information. At the time of the Spanish Inquisition, the south part of Italy, which means almost half of Italy, was ruled by Spain. So it was under the Spanish kingdom. And in the south part of Italy, we think that lived almost 50% of the population was Jew. So a lot of family in the south of Italy have somehow a Jewish origin. While there are no Jews in the south of Italy, almost no Jews. Some American soldier and some very, very small communities. So she's from Calabria, which is the deep south of Italy, and probably she has a Jewish origin, and Mim as well. Come, Mimo. I have a Milan for you. Come here.
Thank you.
He has as well a Jewish origin. Now we will see if our Nukitas are ready.
Aspetta, non metterlo, aspetta.
Salve un pochino. Ok, allora prendiamo un piatto e faccio vedere come si serve. So, Kippur is on the way. And of course, this will be the dish you will eat for breaking the fast. So you will start Kippur with it and you will end Kippur with it. So in this, there is meat, where is
So we're going to start serving the nukitas. We're going to serve it with a little bit of the big meat and a little bit of broth. Quanto c'è gente che a cui piace più.
When it's Kippur, you put a lot of nukitas inside, of course. Now we did a soft version.
Less proportion.
Yes.
Okay.
But of course, before Kippur, we eat maybe two dishes filled up with nukitas, and there is some water, of course. Remember, not too much salt, not too much spicy if it's Kippur, but put salt and spicy if it's not Kippur. May I have, yes.
So this should be your end result. Tomato soup with meat and nukitas.
Okay, I just want to show you the end result if it's Kippur, which is
We'd have done lots more of pasta. And less broth, obviously.
It will be at the minimum is like this, but normally it's more thicker than this. A lot of nukitas inside. You will eat meat, nukitas, which is semolina, chicken, and you will drink a little bit where it's beef and so on. Oh, so good. You have to try it.
Looks lovely. I'm very jealous. They're the only one eating. They've been eating the whole time. It's ridiculous, really.
Okay.
Want to take an spoon? Want to take another spoon? Oh, thank you.
Looks delicious.
Oh, that's right.
It's so nice. I've got 10 bowls of this. Really nice. Really, really nice. And it's really, really flavory as well. It has a lot of flavor. È un brodo molto saporito.
So I think we have 5 more minutes for all the questions, comments, and so on. And I would say to you that we are so happy to host you in their house. It's their house. And if you wish to have some other lesson of Italian cooking, she's a really cooker. We did have fabulous lunch and dinner in these 2 days. I would not get inside the explanation because you already have this explanation. The place is Bricco delle Rose because all outside here there are roses. And if you may come in May, you will enjoy roses. And if you come in the next 2 weeks, you will enjoy the vineyard with color which are like, you know, Canada, when it's...
yeah, very famous foliage.
It's a foliage, it's yellow, red, green, and you can imagine it's like a paint. So I hope you'll enjoy. Please, Mimo, just
one information. This is the most important wine area in Italy and one of the most important in Europe. And in the last years, become World Heritage Area.
UNESCO.
Yeah, by UNESCO. So we have the fortune to live in a fabulous area with roses and with wine. The reason why we have roses is because roses and raisin are they are based on the same. I can say same
family.
Yeah, and this is the reason why in this area we are the
roses and vineyards.
Yeah, are the same. So you come in the vineyards and you can see also the roses.
All right.
So we wait.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to our technical team as well that has been.
Come on, technical team.
Come here, come you show your face.
Our director. And
director of photography.
And our director, Rosanna.
And
she's the
bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
We are here. If you have questions, we can stay here for 10 more minutes and you can talk.
Yeah, feel free to mute yourself and ask questions if you have any. Thank you all so much.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Everyone's too hungry to ask a question.
As soon as we have the link to the Drive folder with all the videos that we already made, we're going to send it towards you, so you can download the videos and see the technical part of the recipes and save it onto your computer for future use.
She said it would be on your drive, she calls it. I'm sure they're going to send it. I think if you signed up, you'll get it.
Yeah, we will make sure that the links to the videos are accessible to everyone. And we did already send out the papers that you could download and print or see all the things you sent. So anyone who has any questions, don't worry, we'll make sure you have access to all the information. This was fabulous.
Thank you very much. And if you send the recorded part, we will try to arrange a new video integrating everything. I don't know if it will be possible, but we'll try to.
Yeah,
and if you want to know something about some other Italian cooking, just let us know. We will try to organize another meeting. We'll be happy to host you.
Thank you. We can't wait to be there. And I know on behalf of everyone in Pittsburgh, we wish you all a sweet, healthy Shana Tova. And we will, like I said, we are all looking forward to the day we can connect physically, get on that airplane and travel.
Shana Tova to everybody. And thank you very, very much. I wish you a happy new year and Chatima Tova 34. Bye.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Rob Sylvia.